What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Thank you for joining us tonight. Another Mindset Monday call. Tonight's topic is going to be very, very powerful. It's on creating identity, right? This is a conversation that it goes so deep, and we're just going to be scratching the surface. But hopefully, by the end of this call, you're going to have some things to think about, right? You're going to have some tools that you get to spend some time on your own, that alone time, a solitude time, and go over the things that really matter. Because identity is all about who you are. Okay, it's not about what you do. It's not the things that you want. It's about who you are as a human. Okay, so I'm gonna dive in here in some information. If you guys would like to take some notes, you're more than welcome to. Okay, so here are some pre-framing for the call. Okay, so change requires consistent action. We're aware of that. We're all here because we want to change or we want to improve who we already are, right? So change requires consistent action. Consistent action requires habits, and habits are formed by our identity. Okay? And check this quote out. This is so deep. Your current behaviors are simply a reflection of your current identity. Let that one sink in. Isn't that so true? Our behaviors, the things that we're doing daily, are a reflection of our reality, our identity, of who we see ourselves as, who we are as humans, right? That's really the core of everything that we're experiencing and that we're feeling and that we're doing every single day. Okay, so there are really three main levels when it comes to change. It's our outcomes, the processes, and identity. And we're gonna dive in right now, those three levels and what they mean and what we can do about them, okay? So the first level of change is the outcomes. It's all about what we do, the things that we're doing, okay? It's all about changing the outcomes. Most goals that we have are set based on this level of change. So we are writing down the things that we want to accomplish, right? So some examples of that. I want to lose weight. I want to hit a sales quota. I want to get a promotion or get a bonus, finish a project that I'm working on, writing a book. So our goals are always based on the things that we want. And I just want to make it clear. These three levels of change all work. Okay, we can all gain and get results from them. Obviously, it's important to know what we want, right? We need to know what we're working towards. But if we just stay there, we're not going as deep as we could, and we're not really going to the root that is our identity. So we're gonna find that out here in a second. Okay. So in summary, the outcomes are all about what you get. It's what we get that that is about that first level of change, okay? So we're focusing on that, and most people stay there. They don't go any deeper. So let's keep going. The second level of change is the processes. It's all about the methods and systems in which we implement to get a desired habit, and which are the results, okay? So some examples of that are new routines, new workout routines, creating lead generation or training system to acquire new clients, creating a more solid schedule to drive results, and our habits come from this level. Okay, this is also very important, right? I know a lot of us here are either full-time entrepreneurs or part-time entrepreneurs, and we are constantly working on how can we improve the method and the systems that we have in place in order to elevate our results, right? And I think that it's the next level. When you really think about it, it goes a little bit beyond just what we want. We're going deeper and finding out, okay, what are the little bit deeper roots that we can change in order to lead us into a different direction, right? So let's keep it going. So the processes are all about what you do. It's not about what we get. It's about what we do. So if we're changing our workout routine, we're going to change the results, right? That's the second level of change. And then here's the most powerful part. And I'm experiencing this right now in my life, and I'll share that here in a second, okay? But so the third layer of change, the third level of change is changing our identity. This is the deepest level of change because it goes to the core and it creates change from the inside out. It's all about our beliefs. If you're taking notes, write this down. Our identity is all about our beliefs, our worldview, our self-image. When you see yourself in the mirror, who are you? self-judgments and judgments of others, assumptions, biases that create who we are. So the reason I mentioned in the beginning, we're only scratching the surface, is because we can study this right here, I believe, for the rest of our lives. Okay, who we are as humans, the way that we see things. And a lot of that naturally comes from the first 7 years of life. So, you know, especially self-worth comes from the first 7 years, which is insane, you know, because we can't go back. But here's the cool thing. We can actually change those beliefs and that identity if we are aware of them, of what our beliefs even are. What is the self-image that we have? What is the language that we use to describe ourselves? Okay, how do we judge ourselves? How do we judge others? What are the assumptions that we're making when it comes to things that we're seeing in the world right now, as an example? The assumptions that we have are based on our beliefs, okay, and the biases that are created by who we are. And, you know, this is something that I encourage every single one of you. If you can take anything away from these 10, 15 minutes that I'm going to be speaking here, I want you to take away that this is a quest of finding out who we are. It's a quest worth investing our time into. I think it's so easy to focus on the things that we want in life, right? And we can dream about we can focus on our vision and visualize and write down our goals and take the actions every single day, you know, but we have to become objective and take a step back and realize that, you know, the way that we go about things in our lives are based on who we are. Who is that person? That's the question. And how can we change that, right? So we're going to speak about that here now. So the identity is all about what you believe. This is the deepest level of change, what we believe. So let's go over some examples here. You want to lose weight? The new identity becomes the type of person, you must become the type of person who moves every day, right? The new identity becomes, I exercise every single day. You don't have to force yourself to get up and do something, because the new identity says it's who you are. Does that make sense? Drop a 3 in the chat if this is making sense. I hope this is coming clear to you guys. And here's the small win, okay? If we're gonna change our identity, we must start with the little things. We cannot change everything all at once. Change can happen instantaneously, right? That's one of the teachings that we learn at Tony Robbins. However, we cannot change everything in a split of a second. We can change one thing, right? And that one thing can be the domino effect that we need in order to create more changes. But a small win in a scenario like this would be going on a 20-minute walk daily. Every single day, I go on a 20-minute walk. And naturally, this is going to start the process of becoming someone who moves every single day, right? If we want to become stronger, the identity needs to become the type of person who never misses a workout. That's the new identity. I don't miss a workout. I will work out every single day. A small win, if we don't have that yet, do 10 push-ups every single day. That's a small win that can start that process. If we want to have a successful business, the identity needs to become, you need to become the type of person who shows up intentionally for your business every single day. And a small win can be completing one critical task for your business before 11 a.m. as an example. Okay? I know a lot of us have business in common, and this is an exciting topic of conversation. People in business achieve results if they see themselves as the type of people that perform in ways that produce results. People that do not achieve results are people that think that the results are outside of them. They think that it's all about what they do, but they don't realize it's all about who they are. It really comes from within. Okay? If we want to write a book, the new identity needs to become the type of person who writes 500 words every single day. And a small win can be write one paragraph every single day this week. Okay? And one of the things that we actually use here, and it's a quote that you guys can write down if you're taking notes. One thing that we can use to remind ourselves of this new person, this new identity that if you wish to take on this quest of recreating yourself, you're going to have to spend some time on your own and writing down who this person is. What do you want? Great. What habits do you need to create in order to get those results? Great. And then lastly, what type of person do I need to become in order to achieve these goals? And here's the quote that we use. Act today as the person that we wish to be 5 years down the road. Act today as the person we wish to be 5 years down the road. Okay. And here's the last quote and message that I have for you guys. Some reminders, okay, on this topic that can help you and assist you. Worry less about your results and focus more on your identity. Become the type of person who deserves to achieve the goals you want to achieve. Focus on building identity-based habits, and the results will follow. Identity-based habits. The things that you do are based on your identity. You don't do things because it's just the way that you've done things. You do things because of this new identity that you've created for yourself. It takes action, right? It comes from the inside out. And so the identity comes from within, and the actions and the habits are what follows that. And then the results are what happens, okay, after that. So that's what I have to share with you guys. I'm just scratching the surface. Like I said, I'm 15 minutes in. Right now, I'm going to pass it on to my brother, Mike Battanti. He's going to follow through and give us some more examples and things that we can take on, practical things that we can use to recreate ourselves. Okay? Thank you for being with me. God bless you. Mike Battanti, passing it to you, my brother.
I appreciate you, boss man. I'm super excited for this topic. It's been something that, for me personally, guys, it's a lifelong journey trying to figure out who you are, trying to elevate to who you want to be, trying to, put all the puzzle pieces together, right? Here, I want to start off with a question, right? There were so many different angles that I could address this conversation. What is your philosophy? Write that down. What is your philosophy? If you don't follow Will Smith, the motivational speaker, if you don't follow Will Smith, the mindset, I encourage you to. He's brilliant, right? And he drops this quote in one of his interviews where he goes, I don't want people to remember Will Smith, the name. He's like, I don't want to be Will Smith. I don't want to be known as Will Smith. I want to be known as an idea of how one could live their life if they went all in on themselves, if they chase their dreams all in, and it just creates that upper level of what are you living for? What is your philosophy? Are you tying your identity to material things? You're the kid who drives the nice car. You're the girl who has all the jewelry. You're the entrepreneur with the $50,000 watch, right? So my question to you remains the same: is what is your philosophy? What are you living out as your truth? And I think it's so important because the world is always going to change, right? Your friends are coming in and out. Your business associates are coming in and out. The things that you're passionate are coming in and out. But your identity is something where your philosophy should always stay relatively the same, right? What do you live for is the real question. And for me, it's been so important to maintain that as I grow, as I elevate, as I take on some of the things that I'm going to talk about right here, right? Because change doesn't always mean growth, but growth always means change, right? And if you're always growing, then you need to be able to adjust that change, right? And having a life philosophy of things that I live for allows me to mediate the change, is because things are changing around me, but my core is the same. And it's just something to keep in mind, right? What is your philosophy? Let's talk Tony Robbins. Some of the people I'm going to draw from are people that you like, just write down their name and then go on YouTube. Tony Robbins, we got to turn our shoulds into musts. You have to take your shoulds and turn them into must. I should go to the gym. I should pick up the phone. I should call my mother, right? I should reach out to my grandparents. God willing, they're still alive. I'm being serious, man. Like, your grandparents want to hear from you, right? I should do this. Like, no, the conversation is not I should. The conversation is I must, right? Because one is a thought and the other is an action. And as you heard from Nick, we got to take action, right? The richest place in the world is the graveyard from all the people who never took action on their dreams, who never took action on their ideas, right? It's also conveniently the place with the most regret from those same people, right? So take your shoulds, turn them into must. Grant Cardone, write him down. Especially if you're a hustler, if you're in sales, if you're trying to get this commission, if you're trying to elevate your game, Uncle G, Grant Cardone, he writes an entire series called 10X, right? And this is the step that I encourage you to take once you identify who you are. Once you got that, once you have the framework, once you know who it is that you're trying to be, right? Grant Cardone creates this concept. And whether or not you follow him into the world that he's in, or just take the concept of 10X, write it down, 10X. I need to take everything that I'm doing in my life and I need to times it by 10. That's the effort required to actually make it work, right? Whether you're going after, that landscaping gig, right? Whether you're, trying to get more products in your world that they say, hey, we love you. We want you to promote us. We want you to promote our product, right? Whether you're trying to scale your Enagic business, whether you're trying to be a happy person, you need to take what you're doing, your efforts, and you need to times them by 10. You aim high, you miss high. You shoot for 1 million and you settle for 100,000. Right? And these are some of the concepts that I think are going to be beneficial for your identity. Here's why. Is because if change doesn't always mean growth, but growth always means change. And we have the intention of growing into more of who we are, more of who we want to be, more of that vision of who we want to be, right? And you're 10Xing yourself on a daily basis. Guess what happens? Stretch. You stretch. And then you bring your ceiling to your floor. Write that down. If you're going to learn anything from me today, it's that. Every day I'm fighting to be better than who I was yesterday. And if that's the case, then at the end of every day, I'm operating at the best I've ever operated in my life. And if that's the case, then guess what happens tomorrow morning? The best that I've ever operated in my entire life now becomes my new bottom floor. Right? And you raise your standards. Tony Robbins, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you allow. Right now, you are allowing yourself to operate at such a low level to what you could be operating at if you 10X'd your lifestyle, right? And I try not to push too forward because Nick could have gone for 3 days talking about how to create your identity. I don't want to negate how important this is to figure out who you are and figure out what you're about and what your life philosophy is and what you're going to stand for in this life. But once you have this, right, this is where you go, is a place of just pure growth and flow and bliss and elevation and 10X. And these are my new standards for life. Right? One thing I started doing in the gym is if my mind wanted to quit mid-set, guess what? I now have another set. Because you even thought about quitting, you now have another set. Welcome to the show. Right? And here's what I urge you is like, if you don't take charge over this discipline of your mind? Nobody will. We're all adults. There is no mommy and daddy there anymore saying, oh, better get up, right? If you literally, Mikey, if you wanted to lay in bed and veg for 24 hours, you could probably get away with it. You're an adult. There isn't really somebody there being like, yo, you gotta get up. So like, be that for yourself. And it comes with raising your standards for yourself, right? For your identity. My identity deserves better, right? This is not who I am. Good. Change it. And that's where we come full circle to your shoulds become your musts. Man, I shouldn't be eating this. I shouldn't be starting this Netflix series. I shouldn't be kicking my feet up right now at 3 p.m, right? I shouldn't be sleeping till 11, 12. No, the conversation is I must get up earlier. I must finish the day strong. I must control my diet, right? And choose better standards for myself, right? And it becomes a much different conversation, right? When you bring your ceiling to your floor. Here's something that I can leave you with, something to practice. Anytime you get into a situation of doubt and fear, quickly imagine what would the 10 times stronger, 10 times more confident, 10 times more self-secure version of myself do in this situation, and then force yourself to do that. And what happens is 3 months later, 6 months later, 12 months later, after doing that, you look at yourself in the mirror and you didn't even realize that you were growing. You don't even recognize who you see in the mirror. It's a subconscious trick on your mind, is forcing yourself out of your comfort zone by identifying what would 10 times Katie do in this moment? What would 10 times Thomas do, right? What would 10 times Carla do in this moment right now where I'm hesitating? And literally force yourself to do that. And then it becomes easier and it becomes easier. It becomes easier. And then you look back and you're like, man, I don't even recognize who I am anymore because I'm constantly doing what the 10 times better version of me would do. It's literally 10xing yourself in real life. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope that you gained one piece of value. Tony Robbins, dive in. The man he doesn't sell out 15,000, 20,000 people for no reason. For what, 30 years the man has been doing this? It's not for no reason. Fall in love with the cliche motivational speakers because they're the real ones, right? Grant Cardone, a great tool to use to fire you up, to get you hustling, right? And always remember to bring your ceiling to your floor. Fight every day to get to that next level. And then when you wake up the next day, that is your new standard. Your best now becomes your new standard of operating. And then you build off of that. So with that being said, peace and love, everybody. For those watching the recording, we value you. Keep coming back for more. We're going to keep showing up for you if you keep showing up for this, right? So we'll see you next week. Peace and love.